All right. Well, this is Brian Johnson with Finance and Commerce newspaper, and I'm pleased to be joined by Meredith Hayes Gordon, who was recently named HGA's Science and Technology Market Sector Leader. Hayes Gordon has more than 20 years of experience in architecture, design, and project management. She holds a Master of Architecture and a Bachelor of Arts in Architecture from the University of Minnesota. She received the National AIA Young Architects Award in 2020 and has served as both a board member and president of AIA Minnesota, as well as the Minnesota Architectural Foundation, and currently serves on HGA's board of directors. Meredith, thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Brian. Happy to be here.
Great. Well, let's just jump right in. I gave a brief introduction there, but I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about your new role as science and technology market sector leader, and what are your primary job duties in that capacity?
Sure. Yeah. HGA is an international interdisciplinary firm with about 1,100 people and 12 offices. And we're organized around 8 markets, one of which is science and technology. We really seek to collaborate with mission-driven clients to design solutions that inspire and advance research to tackle humanity's most significant challenges. We have about 40 to 50 architects who focus on S&T projects, and it's a national practice, coast to coast, folks in Boston, the Midwest here, as well as California. And in my role as market sector leader, it's really to lead development of strategy for how science and technology clients can be served and how we can have a stronger impact on them. Really guiding our future and exploring what we can do with clients. Strategy development at HGA is holistic and collaborative because we've got a wide range of disciplines and services that we can bring to any given client. And so I'm responsible for ensuring that our internal team has the resources it needs to be successful, whether that's software or recruiting new talent and anything in between. I also really appreciate that at HGA, our leaders are continuing to work as architects. So thankfully, I get to continue to operate as a principal, engaging with clients and doing new work and going after great work with inspiring clients.
Well, great. And you're based here, right here in Minneapolis, correct?
I am. Yes, I am in Minneapolis, which is the largest office for HGA. But like I said, 12 offices around the country. So our practice really is national. Thankfully, we are serving clients all over the country. That deep expertise in science and technology takes us everywhere.
Well, I wonder if you could talk a little bit now about how firms like HGA can support research success through design, and what are some examples of that?
Yeah, research success is something we talk a lot with our clients about. What does success mean to them? So often in the design process, we are engaging with leadership to really understand what the baseline goals and mission are that they're trying to achieve with any given project. And often that goes beyond an individual project and it might be broader institutional goals. So on a project like the Case Western Reserve University Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering building, currently under construction, that's going to open in about a year now. They defined 3 critical goals for the institution, and the building project was a way to help further those goals. So the goals were a 50% increase in research expenditures, a drive towards interdisciplinarity, and stronger engagement with the Cleveland community. So as we began working with CASE, we explored how the building could support that interdisciplinarity and increase in research expenditures. They wanted to bring people together for the first time in a new kind of environment. So we were bringing College of Arts and Sciences folks, Case School of Engineering, and medical school folks together. That can be challenging because you've got leadership in all three of those entities who are vying for what's important to them. But bringing everyone together and developing some shared goals for the project was really a way for us to then program the building to achieve the broader goals. So we worked on developing flexible and adaptable labs that could support a broad range of research as it would change over time. We, with the school, identified 8 themes that the building would support on day one. So things like electrochemistry, life science therapeutics, neurorobotics, sustainable materials and manufacturing. These themes helped us create lab environments that would support a specific type of work on day one. But again, because it was an adaptable model, those themes could evolve or change entirely over time, and the building wouldn't have to drastically change. The other really interesting thing on that project ties back to this. What is research success, right? And we're finding kind of stark differences between the generations when they answer that question. So more junior faculty have the kind of standard quantitative metrics of success, like number of grants, number of publications. It's really kind of hard data. And then those faculty who are further along in their career, they're thinking much more about legacy. How is the work that they're doing today going to continue beyond them being in that role? How are they supporting new junior faculty getting new tenured positions at this institution or elsewhere? It's really about legacy. And those folks are talking more about the spaces outside of the hard technical lab spaces. So they're thinking about, how do I get people to come together, right? And it's the soft spaces that actually, from an ROI perspective, a client often is questioning, why do I need a lounge in this building? But the priority in getting people outside of the lab, thinking in a different way, engaging with colleagues across themes and disciplines is the way you really come to new ideas. So we had great conversations with the case client about, how do you balance an investment in that versus the investment in the hard research space, which everyone always says is lacking in every institution.
Yeah, and the press release announcing your promotion to HGA Science and Technology Market Leader talks about creating spaces that strategically connect academia, industry, and community. Tell us more about that and talk about some real-world examples, such as the Masonic Institute for the Developing Brain at the University of Minnesota.
Sure, Brian. More and more of our clients are really using buildings to bring together various entities to further research and discovery. So they're really pushing to think more about translation beyond basic research. And maybe that's translation, commercialization, bringing new products and ideas to the public to help solve some of these challenges that we have. So a great example of that is the Masonic Institute for the Developing Brain at the University of Minnesota. And we were engaged at the very early stages of University of Minnesota leadership, even conceiving of this institute. They recognized that there was a shared theme happening across several silos at the university. So there were already different institutes and groups at the university that had this shared mission around brain health. And so the concept was to bring them together in the chance that physically co-locating them could spur new thinking and new ideas and broaden the impact that they were already having. So the building brings together researchers, educators, clinicians, advocates, community partners, all around that shared mission. And we worked with co-directors Damien Fair and Michael Georgieff to design a facility that supports what they termed creative collisions. I love that term. So creative collisions in their mind were these spontaneous encounters that would happen amongst people who were co-located in the same building and bring about new thinking. So the building was set up in a way to separate the clinic on level 1 and the research space on level 2. And this is mostly done to comply with HIPAA and IRB requirements, some of those technical things. But in the middle of that portion of the building, there's a 2-story atrium that connects and makes sure that there's visual connection between the clinicians and the researchers. So they're always thinking, it's always visible that there is this shared mentality around this brain health mission within the facility. So it really creates a cycle where families might come in for a clinic visit, and then they learn about an opportunity to participate in a research study upstairs, and and the vice versa. It's a good positive cycle for that co-location. The facility also includes educators for telehealth and helping to engage with bring the services that are available here in the Twin Cities out to the broader greater Minnesota community. So again, helping the broader community engage around this mission of brain health.
Yeah, that's a great project. When was that project completed? Do you recall?
Yeah, it opened in November of 2021. So they've had some new thinking that came about in the middle of that project because it was early COVID days. So we finished design, I think, in the summer of 2020 and started construction right away, opened in November, and already the clinic was meant to support some mental health services, psychiatry and psychology. And so much of that work went virtual during COVID and hasn't necessarily come back. So they've found new ways to use the spatial resources that they have within the facility to support that mission in different ways. But thankfully, it's adapted well, and the client has talked about the added benefit that they've had from being co-located in that building.
Yeah, it was a great project. Congrats on that. Wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about just kind of the overall outlook for the science and technology market sector. I know, just to back up a little bit and doing some research for this interview, I noticed that HGA was listed in the top 10 nationally in a ranking of the nation's largest science and technology architecture firms. I think that was from Building Design and Construction. And so you're obviously very well established in that sector. What do you see? What do you see in the coming months and years? Do you expect to stay busy in this sector?
Yeah, I think that science and technology spaces are an ongoing need that exists in our society for research and furthering causes and trying to solve significant challenges. So we expect that there's going to be a need to develop new labs. Now, the federal funding changes that have come about, the questions about indirect costs that academic institutions are dealing with, We saw some initial hesitation, I would say, earlier in the year, but we're seeing both corporate clients and academic institutions find a way through because so much of the research is critical. And these are spaces that provide access to really unique tools that can't exist everywhere or online. And so we certainly see the need for ongoing renovations and new spaces coming about. We're strategically trying to help several clients think through optimizing their space. So we have some academic clients who are thinking about consolidation of buildings. They've got maybe too much building stock and need to make sure that they're using what they have highest and best use. And all of that is a balance of how do you design for what's going to happen on day one, but then also accommodate the changes because research is constantly changing, obviously. And so you need to have ease of evolution of the built environment to really support ongoing success. So while there's been maybe a little bit of a dip this year in activity as people are trying to do more planning work and thinking about the space that they have and how to move forward, we are definitely seeing the market pick up again in Q3 and Q4 and supporting the growth and change that's out there in the science and technology sector.
Well, great. Well, thanks for that. Just to back up a little bit, it looks like I believe you've been with HGA for about 10 years now. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep. 10 years and hopefully many more.
Absolutely. What other positions have you held with HGA?
Well, when I started at HGA, there was not a dedicated market for science and technology. So when I came to HGA, I was in our arts community and education practice. But the project I started on day one was a research building. So the HGA had been dabbling in the market for a while and then fully dedicated a group and market to it in 2018. So I was for a time the practice group leader for that arts community and education practice here in Minneapolis, and then have transitioned into the science and technology sector. I've been a principal for the last 7 years, so leading clients and bringing in new work. And like you mentioned, I'm in my third year as a board member with our firm as well.
How did you decide to pursue architecture as a career? Is it just something that you always wanted to do?
I love that question, Brian. It's a funny story. I did not know an architect growing up. I grew up in rural Minnesota and didn't really know what architects were or what they did. But there was this set of tools that my mother had in this beautiful velvet box that kind of wrapped up. And I discovered those one day and asked my mom what it was. And her father, who was actually a rural Minnesota lawyer, loved architect. He was a closet architect, right? So he, during her growing up, every few years, he would get out these beautiful drafting tools and draft up a new house and then have it built and they would move into it. So she talks about moving several times during her childhood. But these tools, when I discovered them, the compass and these beautiful, lead holders and everything, I became fascinated with how to use those and would take the old home plan magazines, the magazines that are full of home plans, and I would take those and draw them and then change them and redraw them. So I was inspired early by my late grandfather, who I never met, to really explore architecture. And coming to the University of Minnesota as an undergrad, getting the exposure to this balance between art and science that architecture really is, needing to understand the technical complexities of how you put a wall together that can withstand the test of time, but also the artistic component of understanding aesthetically how it looks and feels. That was really what drew me to the profession.
Oh, that's a great story, and it's been a great career choice, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, definitely.
Um, do you mentor young people or anything like that? I know that there's a lot of emphasis on getting more young people into the field, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Inspiring others to this work and finding those who are passionate about being a designer and working in this field is definitely something I find very important to further the profession. So we have internal to HGA mentorship programs that I'm consistently a part of, engaged with other more junior folks. But I've also, through my work in AIA, both on the AIA Minnesota board and through the Minnesota Architectural Foundation, have been involved in some mentorship there. There's a great scholarship that the foundation has, the Wigington Scholarship, supporting minority students, and so have had some really great engagement with some students from Dunwoody who are working on their degrees and helping expose them to what it means to be a practicing professional in a firm. And those are always so enjoyable because while I may be the older and more experienced person in the relationship, I always learn from those that I'm spending time with as well.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And we've covered a lot of ground here, Meredith, and you've been generous with your time. Any final thoughts before I let you go?
No, I appreciate the opportunity to chat, Brian. It's an exciting time and look forward to seeing what happens in the rest of the year.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for your time, and have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon, I hope.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.